All right, y'all, we got yet another ICE-involved shooting that happened over the last week that we really just have to discuss, that unfortunately, like in a lot of these cases, is a result of the own stupidity and lack of good decision-making of these people that unfortunately in this case resulted in this illegal immigrant. It was an illegal immigrant getting shot. He did not die, but he did get injured, and we are going to discuss it. Well, it's been a crazy week politically, so I'm going to try to make as many episodes talking about all of the crazy things that happened politically this week, but today's episode is going to be focused on the ICE incidents that have been happening over the last week. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'm Micah. Alright, y'all, so there are going to be two different ICE incidents that we are going to be discussing in today's video, with one being more serious than the other, with the more serious incident involving an ICE agent that had to shoot an illegal immigrant that tried to attack the ICE officer with a shovel, okay? And thankfully it didn't kill the illegal immigrant, so he is alive and I believe getting better, and then hopefully they get him out of the country after that because he's here illegally. So it did not kill him. And then the second incident that we are going to be discussing involved another illegal immigrant that used his vehicle to try to ram his way out of the ICE officer's sight, and it didn't turn out too well for him. He eventually surrendered himself. But those are going to be the two incidents that we are going to be discussing in today's video. So without further ado, let's get straight into them. Okay, so before I play for you any of the clips involving the ICE agents and these recent incidents, I want to talk a little bit about how the Democrats are so indoctrinated and brainwashed that they are so used to hearing Democrats, whether they be the president, Congress people, but they are so used to these Democrats encouraging them to cause violence and to obstruct law enforcement officers, aka ICE agents. And I'll put some statistics on the screen right here. Political violence on the left, terrorist plots, or just, political violence on the left has literally quadrupled in size, if not even more than that, since 1994. And so that's a huge, reason why they cause so much violence, and that's why they cause violence against ICE, because they are being told, especially by Mr. Jacob French Fries over here and the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, who literally encouraged them to take out their cell phones and record and, resist against ICE. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the left is constantly being trained to resist against ICE, which is why we see so many people using their cars to keep ICE from doing their job, which is illegal. For anybody wondering, you can't block ICE agents or any form of law enforcement from doing their job, especially with your car. If you block a police officer from chasing somebody from chasing a criminal with their car, if you use your car to block them from doing that, what's going to happen to you? You're going to get arrested because that's a stupid move. It's illegal, and you're going to get arrested for doing it. Same applies to ICE agents. They are protecting the United States of America's citizen by arresting and deporting these illegal immigrants. And so when you take your car and you use it as a weapon or as a barricade to keep them from catching these criminals, that is illegal, and so you can't expect anything good to come out of that. And we hear Democrats all the time complaining about these ICE incidents, saying that ICE officers are murderers, they're ruining this country, they're attacking U.S. citizens. That's completely wrong. The reason why all these incidents, whether it be people getting shot, people getting arrested, or tackled to the ground, the reason these incidents are happening is because the Democratic Party is training these people to resist against ICE, to block them from doing their job, which is why all these incidents happen, is because they're making the very bad decision to resist against law enforcement officers like they are being told to do, which results in all these incidents that the Democrats complain about when they happen. But it's all a part of their move to make ICE look bad. They are using their own political party to try to block ICE from doing their job, and then whenever these horrible incidents happen, then they can use it against ICE. So yes, this is all absolutely a part of the the Democrats' political stunt. They are using their own political party members to cause these incidents that they know are going to happen, because when you mess with law enforcement officers in violent ways and disruptive ways, nothing good's going to come out of it, and they know that that's the case, which is why they're using their own political party, because they know that these incidents will happen if they tell these people, oh, go resist against ICE, nothing bad will happen, when they know things bad will happen, and then whenever the bad things happen, then they use it against ICE. So they are using their own political party to cause violence, and then whenever the violence happens and they get consequences for causing that violence, then they try to use it against ICE and the Trump administration. Okay, so I searched for a while to try to find a video of the actual shooting that happened with the ICE agent and this illegal immigrant that they unfortunately had to shoot, and I couldn't find a direct video showing the shooting happening. I'm not sure if anybody was recording at that time, so if you know where I could find a video of the actual shooting happening, that would be great, and then I could, show it on this channel, show it to y'all so that y'all can see how the shooting actually happened. But I'm going to go ahead and play for you a clip from Fox News of a reporter basically explaining it as the events unfolded, and then after she basically just summed up everything that happened, and I think that she did a pretty good job explaining it. So here's that video. Go ahead and listen to this.
This is a Fox News alert. This breaking just as we're coming on the air tonight. We have learned that there was an ICE-involved shooting in Minneapolis. We go live to Alexis McAdams. She is live on the ground with the details. Alexis, I've just been looking at these images that we're just getting a hold of now, and we'll keep them up for our audience to see. It looks like things are, spiraling out of control very quickly there.
Well, Sean, that's the thing, is it ebbs and flows. So 1 minute, there's a small protest at the federal building. The next minute, these people with whistles and an agenda show up to these different sites across the city. That's what DHS has been saying. What we know right now from our colleague Bill Malugin, who just got off the phone with his federal sources, Sean, is that a man who was a target of an ICE operation from Venezuela, who ICE says was in the country illegally, was a target in this operation here in Minnesota. So they go to the door. That's when they say this Venezuelan migrant held up a shovel, tried to assault one of their agents, and you can hear those chants there in the background as protesters show up. That's when they say use the shovel to try and assault the agent. Shots were fired. This Venezuelan teen, we're told, was shot in the leg, expected to be okay. Bill Malugin telling me there's actually a picture that a source texted him of this guy on a stretcher smiling, kind of giving a thumbs up as he's taken away to the hospital. So we'll get more on what's going on there at the scene. But it's become aggressive here, and I saw it today when I was on the ground with law enforcement here, with ICE agents here in Minnesota. It's something we've been keeping an eye on as it continues to grow. But it comes as the governor here, Tim Walz, who's also under investigation in this huge fraud scheme here, Sean, just told people, hey, these are just our neighbors, and if you see them getting arrested, take out your cell phone and record one.
Well, I don't know what that man expected to happen. He was probably expecting to just be let off the hook because that's what the Democrats tell them is going to happen. But that's not what's going to happen here, y'all, okay? When you try to assault a law enforcement officer with a hard metal shovel, what do you expect to happen? Here, come at me, come, whack me with your hard shovel. No, that's not what's gonna happen, okay? Something has to not be working right in your brain for you to feel like it's okay to try to assault a law enforcement officer with a shovel, okay? Because I would never have the guts to even try to do that unless I was not mentally right, okay? So something is not right with these people who always have intentions of causing violence to a law enforcement officer. I mean, like, you have to have some big guts to be able to do that, okay? And they're so used to being trained by the Democrats to do this that it's like a normal, routine for them to be able to do this. They're so used to becoming violent, so they become violent with law enforcement officers. Well, listen, if you think that you're going to get away with violence, you're not, okay? And if this violence continues with these ICE officers, more and more people are going to get shot, especially if you are trying to physically harm the law enforcement officer, whether it be with your car, like we saw with Renee Good, or with now shovels. And it wasn't only that guy who tried to assault a law enforcement officer with a shovel. There were other people with snow shovels, with broomsticks, who were trying to interfere and stop them. And that is severely illegal, and it is 100% downright wrong. And so if you're gonna risk, doing that, and if you're gonna make the very dumb choice to do that, what do you expect to come out of it? And it's not helpful at all whenever we have these lunatic leaders like Jacob Fry and Governor of Minnesota Tim Walz who are encouraging these people to cause violence and to resist against ICE. They're horrible people. I mean, the fact that they are encouraging people to cause violence is downright wrong, and I think that the Trump administration needs to take more and more steps to stop this from happening. It's infuriating, okay, that there are people like Jacob Fry and Tim Walz who encourage people to cause violence. It's infuriating, and it's not only that. We have people like Nancy Pelosi that encourage people to punch people and that, tell reporters to shut up whenever they don't like the question that's being asked. It's ridiculous, okay? And these are the kind of politicians that nobody likes. Alright, so if that wasn't infuriating enough, wait till you watch the next clip that I'm going to show you, which is going to show an illegal immigrant in his vehicle in a Walmart parking lot. He is in the middle, okay? There is a fence on one side of him, and on the other side of him, there is a grocery cart holder, and then in front of him, there's an ICE agent's vehicle, and behind him, there's an ICE agent's vehicle. So he is stuck in the middle. He has no way out. So this lunatic thinks that it's a good, smart idea to reverse into the ICE agent's vehicle, which is behind him, and then floor it towards the second ICE agent's vehicle, which is in front of him, and it worked poorly. It did not work at all. And so he eventually, I think, accepted his fate and realized that what he was doing was ridiculous. And I think he realized that he's already committed 2 different crimes by illegally coming into this country and then trying to ram his vehicle, or successfully ramming his vehicles into a law enforcement officer's cars. And so I think he just decided that it wasn't worth the fight and that he was going to give up. And that's exactly what he did. But anyways, here's that clip. Go ahead and watch. He's resisting, clearly resisting. He's not listening. They're telling him to get out of the car, and he's not. And then he thinks it's a good idea to reverse into the Nissan, which is an ICE agent's vehicle, and that didn't work, so he decides that it's a good idea to floor it and go forward and try to hit the second ICE agent's vehicle, and it did not work for him at all, and so he eventually gives up. I think they're breaking his window here, but I'm not entirely sure. And then he gets out. Okay, I will admit, that one is pretty hilarious. That lightened up my day a lot watching that. I love how he thought that he could take his small little sedan and run it into ICE agents' vehicles expecting to get away. He failed miserably, though. I mean, he accepted his fate. He knew he was stupid, and he knew that he couldn't do that, and so he got out. I'm not entirely sure if they broke his window, the ICE agents. It kind of sounded like they shattered his window. I'm not entirely sure on that one. You can fact check me. I'm not entirely sure. I'm also not sure if they shot him with something, maybe a bing bag gun, because I know that cops a lot of the times use bing bag guns because it injures them, but it doesn't kill them. So I'm not entirely sure on that one. But it was pretty hilarious to watch the fact that he thought that his small little car could beat big men who are armed with guns, who have larger cars than him, and failed miserably. That was funny. It baffles me. It literally is mind-boggling that these people, even after all of these ICE incidents involving Renee getting shot and killed, this illegal immigrant getting shot with a gun because he tried to harm a law enforcement officer with the shovel, it baffles me that these people are still brave enough to go out and try to do harm to law enforcement officers. It baffles me. How do they have the guts to do this? And I'll tell you why. It's indoctrination. It's them being brainwashed to the point where being violent is usual for them. It's normal for them to become violent against these law enforcement officers because they are being told by high-profile people with lots of power that, causing violence is okay. And causing violence is not okay, y'all. And, they always get consequences for it. But at some point, they gotta learn. These Democrats complain when all these events happen, when they are the ones encouraging people to go do these things that causes these events to happen. If the Democrat Party would just stop being dumb, stop playing dumb, and would tell these people, you know what, maybe don't cause violence because it's causing too many of these, events to occur, but they don't. So as long as they continue to cause violence, these events are rightfully going to continue to happen. Alright, y'all, so if you couldn't already tell, my support for ICE still stands firm and strong, and I will continue to support ICE and what they are doing. They are keeping the citizens of the United States of America safe from these illegal immigrants who, a lot of them commit very violent crimes involving children and all these other crimes. Some of them are here just to contribute to the country, but it still doesn't justify breaking the law. So I 100% support ICE still. I think that what they are doing is absolutely amazing. And so, yeah, my support for ICE still stands firm. Thanks for watching, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. If you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure to do that now, as that would greatly support my mission and help me continue my goal ever since I started this show, which is to share the truth and to make sure that the lies, whether they be being told on the left or the right, are getting exposed and the truth is being told. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.